Hello everyone, I'm DeAngelo with That's Entertainment, and this is your video review of Punch-Out! By Next Level Games. In 1987, Nintendo released one of its most popular titles, Punch-Out!, to mostly rave reviews. The game was so successful that they even licensed one of boxing's greatest champions, Mike Tyson, for a version of the title. Then, 7 years later, its sequel was released to similar fanfare. It would be 15 years before the next installment in the series graced a console, in this case, the Nintendo Wii. But does this most recent iteration of Punch-Out! Show that the boxing franchise still has the energy to last in the ring? Or is the future of the series down for the count? If you played the original Punch-Out! And you remember that game, you probably remember that there was practically no story. It was assumed that the protagonist, Little Mac, was fighting his way to the championship. It's a boxing game. What else could the premise be? However, there was no subtext to the story. The new Punch-Out! Aims to rectify this, subtle though it may be. Between fights, you get introduced to the next competitor through a couple of screen caps. These are all moderately humorous and enjoyable, but it's when you fight through your enemies in the title defense mode that things really seem a lot more fun. You get to see what the other boxers have been doing since their loss to you, and it adds a whole new layer of perspective to what was cut and dry before. First and foremost, you have to understand, Punch-Out! Is not a boxing simulation. It's a puzzle game, which requires you to be precise with your timing and really know how to spot your opponent's weaknesses. All the boxers have a gimmick, which only helps you to enjoy fighting them. From the post-traumatic stress disorder tells of Von Kaiser to the rushing attack of Bald Bull, everyone has a weakness. You have to be quick thinking and sometimes a little creative to figure them all out, but it only adds to the charm of the game. Punch-Out! Is a little unforgiving. Some of the enemies hit hard and some of them hit fast, but with enough repetition, you can figure out what makes them tick. There's a practice mode that you can utilize for training purposes to help you figure out patterns and tells as well, getting you one step closer to the next title. Punch-Out! Was always known for its hilariously diverse and very stereotypically presented fighters. The one for this generation is no different, except that it may even go the extra mile, thanks to the new graphics and voice work. The game looks great. Every one of the characters has very colorful personalities, from the driving disco kid to the manic Aaron Ryan. The animations are top-notch, and really put a smile on your face, when the boxers aren't trying to knock out your teeth. There are 3 levels of visual quality within the game. During the matches, everything has a nice cel-shaded look to it. The final punch of the match usually does something funny too. You've never really enjoyed beating up a washed-up boxer until you've knocked the croissants out of him. Before you fight the opponent, you are treated to a few colorful stills of them, giving them a fairly meager but still entertaining backstory. They have even more context once you get ready to fight them a second time, and they show what has transgressed since their defeat. After you beat a circuit, you get to see a cutscene in the vein of the original Punch-Out's bike riding, pink jogging suit, and New York clips. It's a nice little montage that gives a fan service nod to the older game. The audio is hit or miss, depending on your taste. Every one of the in-game songs is just a take on the original classic Punch-Out! Theme, usually based on your opponent's ethnicity. Foreign boxers speak in their native tongues, so you won't understand what they are saying, but at least it keeps it real and entertaining nonetheless. The 13 fights all have some interesting concepts, especially later on down the line. And though the first portion of the game could be over in as little as 2 hours, you'll definitely find a reason to play through the game again, thanks to title defense mode. In addition to this, there are also goals that the game sets for you, tasking you with finding all the weak points of an enemy or beating them within a certain amount of time. Punch-Out! Also adds multiplayer, which, while a little underdeveloped, is still more than we could have expected. Next Level Games has expressed interest in making a sequel for the Wii as well. Perhaps next time around we'll see a stronger multiplayer edition. It's difficult to step into the shoes of one of the most popular and successful developers of all time, but Next Level Games does so with poise and conviction. It reached into the days of long ago and took a great yet fading franchise and breathed new life into it. While Punch-Out! Still has a way to go before it can stand up to Nintendo's bigger franchises, Next Level Games certainly put it on its way. That's Entertainment awards Punch-Out! A score of 8.5 out of 10.